Hi guys, I'm talking about Azure. Really how to be successful, good, ugly. There's some good, some ugly. Sorry, I don't get this 15-second thing right. So, I love to dabble with technology. I essentially been using AWS for many years and spent the last year learning about Azure at Indigo Books. What's Indigo? Indigo, everyone knows Indigo is a very loved brand. We sell books, but we sell a lot more than books. We have a lot of general merchandises, a place to get a really nice gift, really. The other side of Indigo is that we we have an Indigo Foundation that gives a lot of money back to schools that need books and other items. For example, this year we gave $1.5 million to about 30 schools, which is a really nice thing to do for a company. So, like, what is Azure? Azure, if you don't know, it's second in the scale of top clouds. So people often don't know that. It's pretty close to AWS. Next, Google coming. The good is really, if you are a developer and use Visual Studio, great integration with Visual Studio. The Azure CLI is excellent. We think it's actually better than the AWS CLI. So use it if you can. We did it. There's really hundreds of services, the same thing as AWS. Azure backups are awesome. Express route, you can link it to one zone and be linked automatically to the entire Azure ecosystem across the world. Cosmos DB, 15 seconds. It's a good alternative to AWS, principally if you're doing PaaS, like web apps and function apps. It's their sweet spot, I would say. Not so much infrastructure as a service. And if you're using Azure Active Directory, is probably the best in the market at the moment. It's funny. It looks like some things are 15 seconds different. I think the other good thing about in the Canadian market, they actually have two regions in Canada, one in Toronto, one in Montreal, which helps. Like AWS has only one in Montreal. So it is really, you can do double, like if you have any data. It's actually fast improving. It's quite crazy how almost on a daily basis they're pumping new features. There's a lot of services in preview that actually can be annoying and a curse at the same time. How are we being successful? A lot of stuff we do is essentially PaaS. So web apps, functions, which is the equivalent to your Lambdas on AWS. Not a lot of virtual machines, although we're getting there. They're getting big on containers. We created our own framework using GoTask, Azure CLI, and ARM templates. Eventually, we are going to move to Terraform because it is getting better with the support for AWS. Wasn't there. The bad start is lacks maturity in a lot of areas. Things don't just work as they should. Not quite like the brochure. It's actually confusing. Some products seem duplicated. So it's quite frustrating. I would say monitoring is a challenge. Not too many tools in market. Ways to get logs and errors, not as easy. Like there's hundreds of tools for AWS. There's like 2 monitoring tools for Azure. So like you need to invent the wheel sometimes. Scalability is a challenge. Their auto-scaling is not as neat as AWS. It doesn't scale. It's not as simple. So they have to improve on that. The other side, it's the ugly. Some services take a really long time to spin, like 46 minutes. Like, for example, their application load balancer, any change is 20 minutes. Some machines take 10 to 20 minutes to come up. So if you came from AWS, tough luck. The ugly. The ugly, they haven't freaking figured out how to use DNS, so no internal DNS that actually works, which is a bit ugly. Virtual machines sometimes hang, and it actually takes weeks to get it fixed. Don't know why. I had to get help from Obi-Wan on this one because their support really sucks. And that's it. Thank you.